How you doing today? This your boy's Caddy Boy Records. I'm here at the North Film Festival at the Producer Club and Theater here in New York. New York. Guess what? We're right around the corner from Times Square. This is the fifth annual film festival, okay, for the event. And I'm here with no other than the man, the myth, the legend. All right, Mr. AKA Ivy League himself. All right, so recognize he's a New York native, and he has an impeccable background and a great photographer, film, entrepreneur, etc. And he's going to introduce himself to you. So listen up.
What's going on, world? I know he gave you the nickname that a lot of people call me, Ivy League. But my real name is Dante Briggins. So filmmaker, cinematographer, just lover of art in general. So whether it's music, whether it's video, actual art itself. I had a conversation with somebody here, another filmmaker who said he's working on a documentary on Basquiat.
Oh my gosh, that's
Which,
gonna be excellent.
yeah, so I was enthralled when he said that because he's one of my favorite artists. So, but yeah, just lover of everything art, man.
My question is, why film? Why capturing a lot of people's life stories, visions, etc.? Why?
To me, I think documentary storytelling is it's essentially like the essence of where film came from, right? So when we started with film is about storytelling, and I don't think that there's any truer form than documentary filmmaking, because you get to delve into someone else's life and a lot of times lift the hood for people to see a side of that person um, that they never have an opportunity to see. So, like with the JT Money Project, everyone knows JT as an artist. They know his music, but my goal was for them to learn who he was as a man, as a father. Um, the background that, again, you never get to see. So I think that allowing artists to control the narrative and tell their own story, where it's not some corporation just trying to plop in sponsors and they're controlling the narrative, is why I love indie filmmaking and storytelling.
How many projects before you got to the JT Money story, have you done?
So like the conversation we had yesterday, I started out on the other side of the camera. So, a lot of projects that I worked on, I wasn't behind the camera. I was actually an actor. So in doing that, no real major roles, but I took those opportunities to learn the business from the inside out. And again, like I don't like to toot my own horn or
Why?
give a list of projects that
It's
I worked on.
knowledge. It's knowledge. We need
I
that.
understand, but I'm a humble guy, you know.
I know, I know, but I have to ask these questions because there's a lot of inspiring kids from all diversified backgrounds
Sure.
that's going to be in the same situation as saying you, and we want to make sure that they don't be scared to say, I had the luxury of accomplishing this or accomplishing that. Because I myself, and I know a lot of others, will do something and they start explaining stuff, and people will take it like it's bragging and stuff like that.
Sure,
But it's really
sure.
not bragging. It's life experiences that allowed you to get to where you are, and that story needs to be told. However, it needs to be told so that they get inspired, and reciprocal that.
So for me, I just think for me, more important than the projects was the journey,
Okay.
right? So, in to piggyback off what you said, um, like my career was crazy. I started my first love was music.
Dope.
So some of my closest friends that were here tonight at the film festival, we were connected through music. That's how, and we're still friends.
Yeah.
All these years later.
More like family.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
essentially,
they all came in here. I was like, wow, it was just hugs and embracing and
those are
the
my brothers.
vibes. And I mean, yo, listen, the vibes was crazy. Okay, I'm like, what? I was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? And then he introduced me to all his colleagues, and I had knowledge, and I was just like, wow, it was great. It was a great vibe.
Yeah, those. I mean, those are my brothers and my sisters. Like you said, they're family to me, not just friends. And again, I've collected them over time.
That's good.
So, like Deisha Jackson, who was here tonight, she's
Mm-hmm.
actually the founder and creator of Jersey City Fashion Week.
Wow.
So, along my journey, I was a runway and print model, and that is how I came into contact with Deisha. And I walked in her show, and I helped out other models like that, helped them with their walk. And she saw that and she's like, I would love to have you like come back next year
That's
and
dope.
actually help me produce the show and, help other models and, be the model coordinator, be a part of casting. And like I say, just those opportunities like that that came along in my life. I think that is the essence of who I am. Is the people that I've collected over time. Like if you think about it like a blanket, each one of them is like a thread
Yes, sir.
that's woven into the blanket that is my life. And I had Lexi Lawson who was here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
We actually went to high school together, and
Throwback.
real throwback. And also very humble individual. Walked in the room, I had to tell people that hey, this is Eliza from Hamilton. Like she was the lead in Hamilton, and then people were like, "Oh my goodness!" And then she brought along, a brand new artist that she's mentoring.
I know that is so insane.
Yeah.
And he was humble and enthusiastic, and he's ready to work and get to it.
And this is what I mean. Like those are the type of people that I collect, and I always say it's all about those relationships and those friendships, and that's what's gonna take you far. Like no man is an island to himself. Like
Oh,
if
nice.
you're going to create and you're gonna put yourself out there, you're gonna need some people that are gonna hold you up when you fall down.
Oh my, yes, yes.
So I think that it's very very important to anyone who is thinking about doing anything, whether it's a creative career, whether you're going into business, whether you're going into the culinary field. I mean, whatever you're doing, you're gonna need that support system. And like I said, they showed up and showed out for me tonight,
So,
and I greatly appreciate that.
so the quote that I was asking you to end with, can you tell the people what that great quote that you mentioned all the time that I love to hear, and it's gonna definitely help me, and it's already helped me because I'm sitting here thinking about it. Can you please tell the world that quote?
Oh, absolutely. So it's an old Irish proverb that I came across in research, and it just resonated with me so heavily. Like I just got done talking about those connections, and the quote is, "There are good ships, and there are wood ships, ships that sail the sea. But the best ships are friendships, and may they always be."
Y'all see that? So that's dope. I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. So, how long did it take for you to transition from behind, what I'm saying, from in front of the camera to behind the camera?
So essentially, like my goal was, and we talked about this yesterday too. Something else that I say all the time is ABL.
ABL.
ABL, always be learning. And when I was on sets, whether it was television or film, that was what I was doing. I annoyed everybody from the key grip
Mm-hmm.
to the the director, the producer, the other actors, and I was always asking questions. Like I was just trying to, like a sponge, just trying to absorb everything. So that transition for me, I was doing acting. It was probably about 4 or 5 years before I felt comfortable enough to pick up the pen or the laptop nowadays
Mm-hmm.
and begin writing. Um, and one of the first opportunities that I had to be a major part of a project like that was a short film that a friend of mine was working on. And in exchange for acting in that short film, he
Mm-hmm.
also allowed me to do some other things on the film. And that was kind of the beginning of that whole transition for me.
Yeah, that's insane. So, can you talk about some of the first projects that you worked on? you know, before you got your own knack, before you felt confident enough to transition to really put your stamp on the industry?
Sure. So it was everything from music videos to short films to content creation. I mean, anything that anyone would let me come in and actually put my stamp and my style on. So it was just an array or a bevy of different projects. Anything that anyone would let me, even if it wasn't paid, I just hey, you're gonna let
Volunteer,
me
just be in the mix.
take the reins and put my stamp in my brand, and again give me an opportunity to learn and be a part of their journey. I just took advantage of those opportunities. So I say that to say this, like, just because it's not paid, or maybe it's not a gigantic project, never turn those opportunities down, because that's where you're going to meet those people that you can collect, and they're going to connect you from one person to another person, and that's going to lead from one job to another job, and essentially just being humble, man, and accepting your role at that time. That's really what it's all about.
What about your influencers? I mean, the people that inspired you to, saying move on, move up the ladder, move up the chain. Is there any like artists that you dealt with? Like, you know how you had those one-on-one conversations in the back, and they just say that one thing that just sparks your interest, your intrigue, or is there an actor, actress, or anybody out there that says, say, I like that, I want to do that?
Um, Prior, before going to artists, one of the most inspirational persons in my life has always been my mom.
Mom Dukes, yeah.
My mom, easily the strongest woman that I've ever come across in my time here on this planet. Um, I mean, just her work ethic is why I work the way I work. I saw her get up every single morning, whether she was sick, whether she hadn't eaten, whether she was thirsty, whether it was a blizzard, and she got in her car and went to work in order to provide for her family. And to me, that's more inspirational than any artist, because that's real life, Um, from an artistic standpoint, I try not to idolize other people because I don't want them to influence my style and what I'm trying to do. Now I respect them. There's a lot of directors, Scorsese. I mean, you go down the list. Actors, DiCaprio, and just a lot of them that I'm inspired by because I just love how they treat the craft.
Yes.
But as far as like them influencing me, no. Like I try to create my own style. Like I want to blaze my own path. Like, hey, here's the woods. I want to chop the trees down and make my own road going through. So I think that's something that a lot of up and coming people have to do. Like, if you don't have the machine behind you, then become the machine.
Yes. What about collaborations with other directors? Would you like to ever collaborate with anybody in the industry?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
there's a ton of other directors and actors and people that I would love to collab with. I mean, anybody that's looking to collab, whether known or unknown.
Right.
Because again, ABL. There's, regardless of your status or stature, I can learn something from you. You can learn something from me, and at the end of that project, we'll both be better for it. So, yeah, I mean, I'll collaborate with anyone. Even if they're, hey, I need some content creation, let's do it. Hey, I need a music video, but I don't have a budget. You know
Right.
what? Let's do it. Because you don't know. Like, that person could be the next big
next.
thing. And, you're getting in on sunlight before there was sunlight.
So, JT Money.
My guy.
Okay. Just got finished watching the video, and I really want to see it again. And the reason I want to see it again because there's a lot of stuff that I missed while I was watching it because I was in my own head. Look, you know what I'm saying? Thinking, 34 years, saying this man and the influence that he's done for the whole industry. And then I was stuck in my own head like I was in a time warp because I'm 50, turning 51 this year. and I'm listening to the similarities for all the new artists based on his style back then. And I spoke briefly on it, but it was like, damn, I hear Tupac. I like you said, some people's Biggie. I hear Tupac and I hear Juvie. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, wow, I never put it together. I never thought about it. And then when I heard him, you know what I'm saying, his mannerism, how he's talking. Listen, I don't care about none of the logistics. I just want to do my damn music. I want to be independent. I ain't trying to be like nobody. Save all the other drama for anybody. Can you elaborate, you know what I'm saying, on the whole experience of how that came to be? You know what I'm saying, real quick for us?
So, I have to say shout out to my executive producer, Brian Red Leone. He's not here with us today because, you know, he had some issues at home. Hopefully he's going to make it here for the gala. But, again, another lifelong friend, and we were connected by music. Now we work together in film. He had the relationship with JT.
Okay.
He had been working with JT for quite some time, you know, helping him book shows and, you know, kind of like managing him but not managing him. And JT said to him, you know, I would really like to tell my story. You know what I mean? Like, I'd like to just sit down, like, take all this footage that I have and, like, really share my story with the world.
Wow.
And my friend, my executive producer, Brian, he called me up and he's like, he told JT, I know the guy. And he called me up, and, you know, after a couple conversations with JT over the phone, and then flying out to meet him in Florida and, you know, doing pre-interviews and just realizing how deep the rabbit hole went with the story, I just felt like it was one of those stories that needs to be told. What he's done, not just for Southern hip-hop, but hip-hop as a whole. There was a lot of firsts with JT, you know, and beyond that, in spending time with him and getting to know him, I learned about who he was as a man. And I think that there are not enough positive representations of African American and Hispanic men as fathers.
Yes.
And there's a lot of good ones out there.
Yes, there is.
JT is definitely one of them. In the documentary, you saw his son said, you know, my dad, sometimes I didn't know if he was going to make it back, but he always made it back. Never missed a game.
Nope.
You know, showed up for everything. His daughter.
Oh, my God. That was so inspirational when she was speaking.
Correct. Like, she said, hey, I was in a bad mood. So my dad goes in the back, makes a shirt with my face on it that says, "Are you good?" Yeah, like, and
you gotta see the documentary, people.
Yeah, so he comes out wearing the shirt, and that's just his personality. He's always trying to elevate the mood of everyone around him, and just his aura like that, it's just infectious, and you want to be around him. But yeah, what he's done for hip hop, man. I mean, hip hop 50 years. We're getting ready to celebrate 51, and he's been around for 34, about to be 35.
And he's still in the game.
And he's still going.
And he got the crew. Oh man.
He never stopped. And again, that work ethic also resonated. You know, and it's, you know, when you sit back those days and you're like, I'm tired. Oh man, I don't really feel like this today. Like, I'm not in the mood. And then you meet these individuals that, I mean, they just persevere regardless of any barrier or hurdle that's placed in front of them. I mean, there's no more inspiring story than that.
Yeah, he's had 2 monstrous careers, and going into his 35th year in the music industry, back with his old team from childhood, he's about to, you know what I'm saying, go heavy. And I'm scared of this new project, and that you could elaborate more, because the features he might pull. Can you talk about some of the artists that he worked with? Because a lot of people don't know, you know, say JT. JT, can you speak about a couple artists?
So the project that he kind of released alongside the documentary is called Immortal. Immortal. And if you talk to anybody in the South, anybody in Florida, that's what JT is to them. He's immortal. I mean, it's just crazy. He's worked with everybody. Trick Daddy, Juvenile, Scarface. I mean, the list goes on. Even on this new project, Miami Mount Rushmore. It's him. It's Trick Daddy. It's Rick Ross. It's DJ Khaled. Like, yeah, I mean, like, he's an icon. He's an icon in the South and in Florida. So, but the problem is, a lot of people know the music, right? They know "Shake What Your Mama Gave You." They know who that, but they don't know the person who actually created the music.
Right.
And like he said in the doc, like, first was Poison Clan, then it was JT Money's solo career. But even still to this day, people don't put those together,
No, I mean, because he had changed styles in his solo career, went a different direction. But I seen in the documentary, it was something that said Two Live Crew #2. You know what I'm saying? Like, baby,
Two Live Crew. So essentially, that's what the Poison Clan was known as.
Wow.
Yeah, they were known as Baby Two Live Crew.
Luke,
but
man, is still a monster.
Once that "Shake What Your Mama Gave You" hit, then people kind of disassociated them, and they were their own thing. Right. So they're calling Poison Clan the book, and they don't need to be with Two Live Crew because they can rock the house. And I mean, even to this day, there's "Shake What Your Mama Gave You" contests still happening everywhere. I mean,
overseas, I seen in there that overseas, like at the end of the documentary, I'm like, you got them young kids dropping it like it's hot too. Saying T music. I'm like, oh, sure. I know. Did you guys ever speak about that in the documentary where, listen, they're rocking to your music in China and overseas, and these are the young kids that's embracing your craft. How did he feel? What did he say when he seen that?
So that was another part of the documentary, and when we got to that point, is we wanted to talk about JT's legacy. So we wanted to show his reach, right? How far his art carried, and like you said, it carried over to the Netherlands.
The Netherlands.
It carried over to Japan, Asia, like where they speak a completely different language. But the music
is transcendent and is resolute.
It's transcendent.
Oh
so,
my gosh.
his reach is crazy, and like I said, he hit the highest of highs. Number one song. He was the first artist from Florida to do that, to hit number one on the Billboard. He was the first one to bring a platinum plaque back to Florida.
Home.
Yeah, back to the crib, as they say.
I know, right? Yo, man.
Back to the crib. And it's why he's so legendary. But the thing that really makes JT who he is the fact of how humble he is. And they pointed out in the documentary that he's still out there with the people.
Out there with the
He's shaking hands with the people. He's in the community, giving back. He's talking to the grandmas and the aunties, and he's accessible. Like, a lot of people reach that level of success and they're no longer accessible. But that's why JT has carried on to this point, is because he's relevant and he's forefront in the community, and it's just a beautiful thing. Like, when you see, we got out at Trick Daddy's restaurant and everybody just embraced him. And it wasn't like the star thing where, everybody's running up just trying to take a selfie and, I need to, get my post on Instagram with him. No, everybody giving him hugs and handshakes. And, you know what I mean? Of course, the cameras came out in his pictures, but just to see them embrace him as a member of the community and a person, it just, again, adds to the allure and the legend of JT Money.
I enjoy hearing his mom speak. And I enjoy her talking about him as a young man, and he was the total opposite of her because she held back, and he was just voiceful, but she said also she respected him, and she didn't, and even with the music, the lyrics, I like the fact that she says I should have jumped in more with his career and been more involved to make sure I could guide him the right, keep guiding him the right way. She just wanted to be more involved. But she didn't have any animosity or nothing. She was happy. She loved it. And I think she was more shocked at, like, the fame and, like, the people. It's like, but what do you do if you're a mom and you're seeing, like, your son's music and the whole world is going crazy and sold out shows and, like, wow.
So if you ask JT, he will tell you that his mom
Uh-huh.
was the star of the documentary.
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
no, he's like, no one cared about me. They all showed up to see Miss T. You know, and that, I mean, that's what affectionately everyone calls his mom, is Miss T.
Miss T.
And it was just so nice, like sitting with her and, you know, her going back through his childhood. And again, she talked about, like you said, wanting to be more present in his career, but then she also talked about the barriers and hurdles that she was dealing with as a, you know, as a single mom with JT getting in trouble, and the music came along.
Right.
It was something that he wanted to do. So for her, she's like, yeah, I don't really understand all this legal jargon, and I really don't know what's in this contract, but I'm going to sign it because
It'll
this is
save his
an
life.
this is an opportunity to get him off the streets.
And I agree. That
Yeah,
was
so
great.
while she may not have been as present as she wanted to be, she was present enough to make those decisions to ensure that JT was going to be safe and that he was going to be able to have an opportunity to do something that he absolutely loved. So,
Yeah, so that's good. So, to close this out, what would you like to say to the people about any future projects, you know, that you have going on, and where to follow you?
Sure.
You know, on social media, etc.
So before I say that, I just want to say thank you to the entire team here.
I appreciate you. We all do.
Yeah, at the North Film Festival. I mean, top notch. Everything from communication to organization, just like I said, top notch. So if there's any other filmmakers out there in the United States or internationally that's looking for a festival to be a part of, like, this is one of the ones that you should definitely be submitting your film to, right?
Yes, sir.
That being said, after tonight, right, now that the film is screened here, if anyone would like to see the documentary, it is available on Amazon Prime Video right now.
Yes.
So you can go to Amazon and just type it in. It's Who Dat, the JT Money Story. And there's two options there. You can rent the documentary, or if you want to own it, you can actually own it as well. As far as getting in contact with myself, I am one of those recluses. I don't do social media. But you can reach me via my email, and that is my last name, Briggins, Briggins, the number 1, at luminolensent.com.
Listen, thanks for pulling up.
Oh, yeah, man.
I know I'm definitely going to get the second interview because he has another project coming up, but we're going to talk about that later on the next podcast. You know, but you are talking to your boys, Caddy Boy Records. All right, the North Film Festival here in New York, the Producers Club and Theater, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
You're welcome. My God. Darwin.